Ellie Gray had always been different. While other kids in her quiet seaside town spent their days playing safe games in the park or watching movies at home, Ellie was scaling cliffs, exploring overgrown trails, and imagining herself as a treasure hunter in uncharted lands. Her parents often shook their heads and sighed. "Ellie, why can't you just stay home for once?" her mom would ask. "You're going to give us a heart attack one of these days," her dad added. But Ellie couldn't help herself. The world was too big, too mysterious, and too full of possibilities to ignore. She wanted to see it all. One summer morning, Ellie woke up with a familiar itch in her heart, the kind that told her a new adventure was calling. She grabbed her trusty leather satchel, a notebook, and her favorite compass, a gift from her late grandfather who used to tell her tales of his own travels. That day, she decided to follow a local legend that had fascinated her since she was a child, the story of the Sapphire Cavern. According to the old fishermen in town, the cavern was hidden along the cliffs north of the beach, accessible only during low tide. Inside, they said, was a pool of water so blue it sparkled like gemstones. Most dismissed the story as an old wives' tale, but Ellie believed it was real, and she was determined to find it. The journey wasn't easy. As the tide receded, Ellie navigated slippery rocks and narrow ledges, her heart pounding with equal parts excitement and fear. The salty sea breeze whipped her hair, and the roar of the waves filled her ears. Just when she thought she might have taken a wrong turn, she spotted something. A crack in the cliff face, partially hidden by a curtain of seaweed. Her pulse quickened. She squeezed through the opening, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. Inside, the cavern was cool and damp, the walls glistening with tiny crystals. She followed the winding path deeper, and then, there it was. The sapphire pool. It was even more breathtaking than she'd imagined. The water glowed with an otherworldly blue light, as if the stars themselves had fallen into it. Ellie stood there in awe, her reflection shimmering on the surface. She knelt by the pool and dipped her fingers into the water. It was cool and soothing, and as she sat there, she felt a deep sense of peace. This was why she craved adventure, not just for the thrill, but for moments like this, when the world revealed its hidden magic. When Ellie returned to town, her parents greeted her with a mix of relief and exasperation. "Ellie, where have you been?" her mom asked, throwing her arms around her. "I found it, Mom," Ellie said, her face glowing with excitement. "The Sapphire Cavern. It's real." Though her parents doubted her story at first, Ellie didn't mind. She didn't need anyone else to believe her. She had seen it with her own eyes, and that was enough. From that day on, Ellie became the town's own explorer, venturing into forests, scaling mountains, and even diving into the sea. Wherever she went, she carried the memory of the sapphire pool with her, a reminder that the world was full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and that those who dared to seek them out would always find something extraordinary.